Alright guys, what is up? Yep, I knew Caleb was going live. I heard that on another stream tonight. But it is what it is. So we'll go with the folks that are here, and we'll roll on from there. So we'll talk about some aquarium conservation stuff. Kids these days, yeah. So it happens. It's part of the deal. So I don't know if it didn't look like Chris went live, so I don't know if everything's good with him. Hopefully he doesn't get the crud like I had for the last week or so. So anyway, let's go ahead and get on with the announcements part of the show. First of all, we're running low on announcements now. The only thing left is the... Chris had to send his calendar. Okay. I think the only thing left right now is the OCA. All of the other auctions and stuff are done. So we're getting close to the end of the year here. So OCA is going to be basically starting a week from Friday. Should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it for sure. Now who would tie into aquariums? So looking forward to the OCA. I've not been there before. So we'll see how that works out. Let's go ahead here and take a look real quick. I do want to give a thank you. I don't see Candy in here tonight. But let's go ahead and we're going to give Candy a little thank you. So after last week's Troll Fest, I want to let you guys kind of give a thank you to Candy. If you guys follow football at all, you'll know who that gentleman is. His name is Ed Orgeron. He is the... Candy's here. He is the head coach of the Louisiana State Tigers. I think they're number 1 in the country right now. But he's got a really gruff voice, so look him up later. So basically, he made a comment after one of their games. They play in a stadium called Death Valley. And basically, he said that's where teams' dreams go to die. So that's where that quote's taken from. So I want to thank Candy and Pam, who are my 2 moderators, for their help last week with the whole troll thing. Still kind of fighting the cold a little bit. Hey, Full Moon Aquatics, how's it going? Hey, Don Gallagher, how you doing? Say hi to Scott. Thank you, Scott, for having everyone hit the like button. Thank you, Cichlids23, I think was first. Everything Fish. Let me see. Rockford Fish Keeping was here. I think I got everybody here that was in the chat. So let's go back up to me, and we'll go ahead now and start getting into some different organizations here about the fish conservation. You also squatted Scotty Bowman for sure. So, watching Penn's Rangers game. I used to enjoy the Red Wings, but now that they're not any good, it's kind of they have a brand new stadium. I've not even been down there. Just don't have any desire to watch bad hockey, I guess. So, all right. So let's go ahead now, and we'll share the screen here, and we'll hit that screen share. So the first group here I want to talk about is CARES. What plants? Hey, Aquafunk, how's it going? These plants right here, if you're talking about these, along with the algae that's in here, but yeah, this is Jungle Val. So mostly Jungle Val. There's a ton of it's Jungle Val. I have a ton of it. I grow it like it grows like weeds in my fish room. So, but anyways, let's talk a little bit about CARES first. I know Scott from King and Queen Cichlids. They talked about that on their live stream the other night. But so basically, their goal is to pass along the endangered fish, basically amongst the aquarium hobby. I have the goals up here as well. So basically, support the hobbyists who are maintaining the at-risk fish. Preserve the species for the future generations. So it's a really good organization. You can go up here and see the priority list. You can go by family. And then I was playing around with this a little bit this weekend. But I've got a lot of Gadiids in here. So if you look up the Gadiids, you've got all the Gadiid species in here. And they're all basically... stupid thing. This comes up. But if you click on Cracodon Audax, right? So there's the Cracodon Audax. Basically, Blackfin Gadiid. I actually have this in my fish room. Not as big as that one. It's a little bit smaller, but pretty neat looking fish. So a bunch of different fish in here. If you go back to the priority list by family. So you go look at like live bears are Placilidae. So same thing here. So like you got the Xiphophorus calmani, it's a swordtail, but so Lumpy Dog's here. How's it going? All right, so let's go ahead now and wanted to give you guys a quick look, and then if you want to go find it, I gotta find it again. Hold on. So you can. This is where you register your species. Hey Pam, how's it going? So you can get in here. You can go to the registration. Tells you all how to do that. That's one of the things I do need to do. I do have quite a few CARES fish in the fish barn. So that's kind of one of the reasons I put the arc on the thumbnail. Basically, kind of like the aquarium arc, so we can preserve fish for the future generations. So let's go ahead now and hit the next one. And this one is more of a legal arm. So this is PJAC. And so this is like if you have issues, say saltwater has had to use PJAC a little bit. for people like in Hawaii trying to shut down the aquarium trade, etc. So if you look at what PJAC is, it's for a lot of different types of pets, but it's the Pet Industry Joint Advisory Council. And so basically, you promote responsible pet ownership, foster environmental stewardship, and ensure that the pets are available, obviously within a healthy and good animal welfare standard. Sorry, I can't talk tonight. I'm still fighting this cold. So you go through here. You've got a bunch of different things here about environmental stewardship, protecting the right to own a pet, which I think is very very important. I think we should be able to keep fish if we do so in a responsible manner. Sorry, I'm still fighting the cold a little bit. Hey, Chris, how's it going? So that's one that's kind of important to keep in mind as we ran into things with the goldfish swim. I know JH was talking to those guys. Sorry, excuse me. I'm losing it here. So if we go to the next one, we're going to go a little bit deeper now into some of the stuff like the ALA. So this is the ALA website. They're kind of so we're going to talk a little bit, Scott, just kind of going through a lot of these different organizations. I know that Project Piaba has gotten quite a bit of excuse me, quite a bit of love. But I do want to show some of these other organizations too, just to kind of raise some awareness that these are out there, and people are working on these as well. So they're definitely looking to, protect a lot of the endangered live bears. They work closely with the Gadiad Working Group, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Someone actually brought that up, not in name. But they did bring that up on Scott's stream on Sunday, where they were introducing the fish into the wild. Oh, speaking of that, can someone post a link to Candy and Pam's GoFundMe? Definitely support both of them. They've been going through a little bit of some tough times at the moment. But if you go ahead and put the link up for Candy and Pam, so yes, and give that some support as well. But the ALA is definitely something to keep in mind. Hold on one second. Is that what Doctor? I don't know who Dr. Joanne Norton is, but I'll have to figure it out. So now we'll talk about the Gadiad Working Group, and this one is pretty important. So if you guys don't know a lot about Gadiads, they're native to basically central Mexico in various spots. However, due to a lot of habitat destruction, invasive species, etc., the typical story, right? A lot of them have either gone extinct or are critically endangered. So, oh, okay. I thought it was James Langhammer, but I thought he was involved in it as well. Hey, Gone Mad, how's it going? So, we got the Gadiads here. There's a Gadiad Working Group here, as well as the North American Gadiad Working Group, at least I found on Facebook. So there's a lot of guys working on, and gals working on making sure these species are around. The fish that was in the thumbnail, that was not the Banggai cardinal fish. That was a Scyphia francese, and that was actually extinct in the wild. So it's very important that we do get these fish out there. and get them, you know, make sure that they're around for people to enjoy, and maybe even reintroduce them into their natural habitat. So, but yeah, it's definitely, we'll talk a little bit in a few minutes here once we kind of go through the groups about some of the things that are kind of important when we're talking about, preserving some of these species, etc. So, like, for Gadiads, you don't necessarily have to heat the tank, excuse me. Definitely, make sure you've got the right tank sizes. Location is extremely important as well. We'll get a little bit more into that in a moment. And I missed one of the links, but next one I do want to talk about here is MASNA, and this is going to go a little bit to the saltwater side. We did talk a little bit about the coral restoration project back when we were doing Aquashella Dallas. That is definitely an important project. MASNA, just so you guys who are freshwater are aware, MASNA is basically the club of all clubs. Hey, GRB Aquatics, how's it going? So basically, what it would be is like, say, maybe like the ACA, but it's like an ACA of all the saltwater clubs. So you know how ACA is kind of the governing body of the cichlid clubs. Well, MASNA is the governing body of the all of the saltwater reef clubs, and they put on MASNA every year, which is the big show, and then from there they do a lot of outreach stuff as well. You may have seen Dr. Kevin Erickson on my channel. He is actually the president of MASNA, but yeah, so they do a lot of outreach. They've worked with PJAC in the past as well. They do a lot of educational stuff, support the clubs. They support some of the programs. I'll show you guys here real quick. Let me see. What to support other organizations. It's not working. It's not. It's my computer. But aquaculture, the Marine Breeding Initiative, which I've been involved with. We'll talk about some more developments with that at a later date. We got the Rising Tide, Coral Restoration, which we've talked about, Reef.org, the Hubs Research Institute. So there's all kinds of different things that they're involved with to kind of help with. Yeah, Terry, my saltwater stuff's kind of a mess right now too. But that's kind of one of my Christmas projects, is to kind of get my crap together with the saltwater stuff. So the barn has kind of been in a state of construction at the moment. Who decides? That's a good question. For like, I think MASNA's been around for, kind of since the beginning. Let me see if there's any history on here about MASNA. Let's go to the about and see what it says. So it's a non-profit organization can't talk either, apparently. Composed of aquarium clubs, hobbyists, and industry partners. So it doesn't say. Here we go. Now there's a history of MASNA, but I don't have anything really about MASNA. So I don't have a history of like the ALA or the ACA, but I really don't know. That's a great question. I'll have to, like, they kind of just came up with it on their own, I think. Scott, if he's still in here, he might know a little bit more, but I'm not really sure. Sorry about that. So, with that being said, the one I wanted to put up here as well is the American Cichlid Association as well. Hey, Scott, who decides, like, who's the kind of the club of clubs? So for, like, the ACA, like, who decided that the ACA was going to be the the cichlid club of cichlid clubs per se. Or for like Terry said, the HCA was first, and then from there, all of the other clubs kind of sprouted from it. So I think they all kind of have their own like unique history. Scott half drunk. Oh, so let me pull up the cichlid one real quick because and cichlids was it cichlids.org? I think it's cichlids.org. All right, come on. We're gonna have to use. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, MASNA is the same way, but it's sort of. I think Scott, what I was describing it like for MASNA, which is the saltwater sort of version of the ACA, is sort of like the club of clubs. Um, so they kind of have like a lot of the support and stuff like that for all of the like local clubs. But this is the American Cichlid Association website, and very much same thing. I know there's a lot of issues in Africa as well with the African cichlids. I haven't followed as much like the South Americans and stuff like that. But again, you've got research funds, you got conservation, you've got CARES, you've got conservation projects. So these are all great organizations to support. So definitely, pick one of these organizations. I know I've left Project Piaba kind of out of that for the moment. I know some other people on YouTube are covering that. But the one thing I will say about Project Piaba is there is an importance in all of these projects to make sure you don't leave the local people behind. So, for example, corals, for example, if you take and propagate all of the corals without having the locals involved, that sort of turns into a problem. So, eventually what will happen is if you take the way of making income away from the people out in like the Pacific Islands from harvesting corals or growing them out in the ocean, doing the mariculture, etc. And then you take that and you take that away from them. You're gonna go to bombing the reefs, right? So same thing with the cardinal tetras. I mean, if you can't let them catch the tetras, then you're gonna have they're gonna cut down the they have to eat. So let's talk a little bit about and I'll flip this back to just me. And maybe we'll take the camera around a little bit. The barn right now is more of a disaster than ever, but kind of is what it is at the moment. So let me see. So ACA was the first. Okay, yeah, that's kind of like what I figured. Like, I don't know the history of how like MASNA came to be. I've been interacting with it for quite a while, but don't know. So one of the things that's really important, and I really learned this actually coming over here from the saltwater side, was the locations are extremely important. For example, Gadiads have something called ESUs, which are like evolutionary significant units. So they have different numbers. And I'll take the phone here and I'll show you what's going on with that in just a second. So let me get the phone set up and I'll show you an example. you guys have sound? Let's do a sound check. And we're getting double vision here. So let me go find you a Gadiad in the fish room here. And I can show you some people who do a really good job here of locations. As I'm like destroying my my computer here. So let's go over here. Let's head over this way to the. All right. All right. So I'm gonna cover the name up. But if you look here, so this is Xenotoca variata, which is the jeweled Gadiad. You've got the locations here, and then you see this ESU right here. So that's the location and basically the evolutionary unit where these fish here were found. So again, so this one doesn't have one, but again, you've got location information, which is extremely important for these barred split fins up here. See another one up here. So you've got the blue-tailed Gadiads, the Antinobius toweri. Again, So I always try to keep even stuff that I don't, that's fairly common. So if you look at like this up here, even stuff that is pretty common, I still try to keep track of where I got it from, just so that there's some sort of record. So. And since we're over here, I do want to show you these guys in a more viewable state. So these, I apologize for the glare, but these are the Gadia atropinus. I've got to clean up the glass and stuff in here, but give you guys a quick look at these guys. They're called the blackfin Gadiad. I think this is the female right there. The male has a nice big black on his fins, if I can find him. You see how the that one's yellow. The males are generally black. Let me find it. Found him earlier. So, yeah, he's over here, I think. No, that one's not black either. All right, well, we'll find him later. Maybe I'm... So... All right, so let me show you... so here's another one, right? So here's, Jeremy Sargent Tank. Same thing here. You've got all the, ESU information, etc. So... that's a really good example of record keeping. So when these guys sell all these fish at the auctions, they generally put all that information in there. Lumpy dog. Hold on one second. Show you Lumpy Dog Y. We've got all the cords. I'm still working on managing all of it and managing it like to the right size, which is kind of a pain in the neck, honestly. A lot of it's due to the apex. So a lot of the fish barn is run off of this apex right here. So so what I can do, let me show it to you. But what I can do is I can run all of the equipment, so I can control each one of these outlets and have everything like all the lights and everything turn on. If we head back over here, this thing right here actually controls the auto top off for the saltwater tank upstairs. There's another one of these boxes over in the other corner of the room, so that's kind of why there's all the cords, because everything has to kind of go to a central. So And then this cord has to runs. This cord right here runs all of the runs the computer station. So that's why the cords are here. So let me go back to me, the phone away. So the barn, like I said, is kind of in a evolutionary process. Good night, Scott. Thanks for coming on by. Hey, Big J's Fish Keeper, how's it going? So I eventually will. That's like a ever constant battle is keeping the cords in check, but we get there. All right, so it's about 9:30 now, so let's go ahead and hit the Facebook post of the week. Also, if you're here and you're not subscribed to the channel, we've been going for about half an hour, so I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel. Check out what's going on here. And obviously, if you like what you see, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Ding the notification bell so you don't miss any updates. So let's go ahead and hit the Facebook post of the week here. They're not terribly controversial this week, but I found this one was interesting since we're talking about conservation and breeding. So is there any market for ORA stubby clowns? So one of the things that I learned early on, listening to all of my clownfish breeding friends with the MBI, is you really have to make sure that you have a market for the fish that you're breeding. So not, it's not saying like the Cares fish, etc. But if you're going bluegill and bass, I just made a live subscriber count. Can someone please test it out? Cool. Excuse me. So the stubby clownfish, you got to really, pay attention if you're breeding, like say breeding for profit. Like say doing the Cares things, etc. You should do that because it's the right thing to do. But if you're doing like something like a stubby clownfish, or I'm gonna use an example. I've been playing around with the Santa Maria Endlers, right? So I bought those from Dan, and I've been kind of doing a little bit of a test at the last two auctions to see how much they would go for. Just kind of keeping an eye out and seeing what things will go for, and kind of like a little bit of an economics test. And so they went for, they ended up going for $10 at this auction, and they went for $8 in Grand Rapids. So, that's only two examples, but it is pretty interesting to to play that game at the auction and see the economics of it. There is a little bit of a time thing with it as well. If you can get your bag up closer to the front, definitely will do better. So one of the things that was interesting too, we'll go off the auction for just a minute. I do want to thank all the volunteers from the Motor City Aquarium Society, which I am a part of, for go ahead and making the auction a success. It was really good. One thing they did do, which I thought was really good, is they had the plants. All is buy it now, so you didn't have anyone auctioning plants. There were some people that were a little bit upset about that, but I think that was a good move. All the plants were sold. I left probably about 4:30 or so, and the majority of the plants were gone by then. So, so definitely, if you could please hit the like button. Thank you, Candy. But yeah, it's definitely something you got to pay attention to. Is there a market for the fish you're breeding? Like the upstairs, the convicts I have already spawned. So, those are the dollar fish at the auction. But at the same time, it's definitely something that, excuse me, still fighting the cold, I'm sorry. it's definitely something you need to keep in mind for sure. So let's go ahead and hit the next one. What do you think an in-wall? Yeah, this is not written very well, but basically his question was, how high do you think an in-wall tank should be off of the floor? So I've done an in-wall tank in the past, down in the basement, when I had the fish room downstairs. But what I would say is generally look at like your, go to the store and look at an aquarium stand. I think they're about 30 inches, or look like at a desk, and then kind of just adjust it, for your arm height, arm length, etc. So you can reach in the tank. But one of those things that I find to be pretty important, is the one thing I don't like about my 245 gallon saltwater tank is that it's too tall for my arms to reach in it. Like I can't reach the bottom. So, all right. So, does anyone have any comments on this one? I kind of think this was an interesting, something to think about for sure when you're making your stands. One thing too about making an in-wall tank, from my experience, is you need to have the front panel open, or otherwise, I tried it with just having it closed, and literally, like one day I just cut it open. I was so like tired of trying to reach the front, couldn't reach it, that you really need some front access. You won't think that you will, but in general, I think you will need some. You really do need to kind of get that figured out. So, all right, let's go ahead and hit the next post of the week here, and this one's kind of more of a sort of a joke. Yeah, you can use furniture too, as well, for sure, Terry. Hey Dan, how's it going? Lurking while working. Yep, Dan, you definitely got a lot of work going on there. So, if you haven't checked out Dan's Fish, go ahead and definitely check him out. As well as like Scott from King and Queen Cichlids, Pam, Terry's Tropical Tanks. So check all the channels out that are on here for sure. Thanks for the reminder there, Dan. So this one's kind of an interesting. I was getting a little low on finding stories. So apparently there's this fish shop, and it was food fish. But apparently we're using the art googly eyes to make the fish look better. So I found this morning, kind of checking it out a little bit. But yeah, so a little bit of googly eye fish action. So definitely something pretty interesting. So let me see. I think that's about it for the Facebook post. If you want, I guess I'll take you around upstairs. But I will tell you it is a construction zone right now. And hey Melvin, how's it going? So it is quite a bit of a mess. But we will, I guess I will take you guys on a little bit of a walk around. Show you some of the new auction fish. So I'll tell you to close your eyes when it gets ugly. But we're still kind of in this like clean up, rebuild, build mode. So you have to bear with a little bit of the mess at the moment. But I will take you guys around. We did pick up some pretty cool fish I wanted to show you. So let's go ahead. I'm going to flip the camera back again. So just give me 1 second here. Sure. All right. So we should have audio now on the phone. One of these days I'll get a second phone and actually be able to see the chat. So first thing first, We did pick up a bunch of 5 and 10-gallon tanks here. You see the drill there. That's the this has kind of an interesting story. This bit actually is basically rusted onto this drill. So the only thing this drill is used for is drilling tanks. So someday when this drill dies, which will be, I don't know, or this bit dies, which is since it's older than dirt and rusty, but drill will have to be retired as well. So none of the fish that I got are down here, but let's go ahead and head on upstairs for a minute and get on with our. So the first fish I want to show you here. These are the Paris or the Cyprichromis blue neons, or Cyprichromis leptosoma blue neons. And these guys are already kind of colored up, which I thought was pretty cool. My other Cyprichromis have not colored up as well, but these guys look pretty good. The next fish I want to show you is over here, if we can see them. But these are the Xenotoca, Zoogeneticus tequila. Another Gadiid species. I think they're going to eat. Excuse me. We did pick up some shellies right here as well. Some of the, where are they? God, must really be getting tired. These, Neolamprologus multifasciatus. And where did those guppies go? Oh, they're in the back. Let's fish these guppies up to the front. I want you guys to see these. So I did pick up these guppies as well. They were apparently imported from Vietnam, but they're pretty cool looking. But they're hanging at the back at the moment. So let's see. I will show you the convicts real quick, just because there's convict eggs in there, in that piece of PVC pipe that I threw in there. I actually kind of like this pair of fish. But yeah, definitely pretty cool. Since Dan is in the chat, I will show him the 75 gallon with the Santa Maria endlers in it. So those are the Santa Marias right there. And then let's walk into the now this is the true construction zone. But I moved these guys back over here. If we can see the male is actually stunning if he'll ever come out. But these are the Hepachromis species blue obliquitans. So he's right back there. Hold on. We'll wait him out for a minute. If I had some food over here, we could get him out. But he's literally, and I think they're actually going to spawn. That female looks really, really quite big. All right, so we're now, this is what I spent yesterday doing. We actually had the day off for Veterans Day. So I built this rack over here. So we're going to have 5 gallons on the bottom, 10 gallons on the top. Does encroach a little bit on the sides, but on the sides here, but you know, do what you got to do. So these first ones here are White Cross endlers. We picked up at the auction. The next one are I'm still working on these tanks, but there's some Heterandria formosa in here. You can see the little tiny fish in the back. The next ones I thought are pretty cool. There's some Posilia obscura. So again, this camera doesn't have like a zoom lens on it or anything. And then the next one are some albino guppies, which I thought were pretty cool as well. And then the last fish here are some Xenotoka dodroi. Wow, that fish is awesome. If you look at that male in the back, that is an absolutely amazing looking fish. So if we go next to it, just for a comparison, this is the Xenotoka Eiseneye, or sorry, the Xenotoka Lion's Eye. Right here, definitely cool as well, but doesn't compare to this guy. Yeah, it's pretty cool looking. Let's try to see if we can get this Haplochromis to come out. See, he's hiding right in there under that rock. All right, so I think that's all of the new fish for now. We're going to turn you guys this way, just so you don't see the debacle that's over here. Oh, I did pick up a group of Pistogramma cockatoides, but I can't get to them at the moment. I've got too much crap in the way. But I gotta get the tank finished up because these guys need to get to a new tank. But these are a bunch of the Pundamilia Nyrii, so definitely need to get these guys into a bigger tank as well. So I think that's about it for the new fish. Did I get anything else? Hold on, I think I missed one. So until I can get tags for them, what I've been doing is I did miss one. Hold on. I'm not finding it though. But got a group of Nezzies as well. So once we find them, they're hiding under all the stuff, aren't they? See, there they are. So got some of the swordtails as well. So we'll get those taken care of. I still need to get the auto water chain set up on that rack, but it's coming along fairly well. So let me go ahead and head back. We'll head on back on downstairs. So there's the other swordtails right now. Is the Monozume are in here. There's some fry. I think that's all the new fish for the moment. All right, so let's get this on. So I am back. All right, so I am back. So let's catch up with the chat. Definitely got some audio. Yeah, so I'm getting down to the getting good at remembering to do the audio now. So definitely quite a few nice looking fish. So we've been going now for 49 minutes. You guys have any questions on the new fish or any of the conservation efforts stuff that we were talking about earlier? So good. I'm glad the audio worked out this time. Was really, I know one of the other times we did lose some of the audio, but oh, you know what I didn't talk about? I didn't talk about the snow. We got creamed with snow. So hold on one second. I have a picture to show you. Yeah, the audio is probably good. The video probably not so much. The video probably left a little to be desired, in all honesty. But, you know. Just because the fish room's not exactly clean at the moment. Yeah, the lion's eye and the dodroy are Cair's fish. I think basically like all the Gadiids are Cair's fish, I believe. The other ones that it might not be are the Gadia atropinis, actually. But let me show you this picture, because we got killed with snow. So we got about 9 inches of snow yesterday, which is super early for us in Michigan. So that's what the barn looks like. There's a path now going out, so I'm kind of hoping it melts, because it's going to be a pain in the neck if it doesn't. Amica Splendens, I think are on. We'll go to the cares list. Hold on, we're on the right screen for it. So let's go and check it out. Yeah, Pam, you live in Wyoming though. That's different. You like, not that that matters, but yeah, we yeah, we usually don't get it this early. If we do, it's kind of like a dusting. Like if you look to that picture, there's still leaves on the trees. Like it's ridiculous. I'm like, this is like insane. I don't know what we're gonna do. You know. So here's the dodroy, the lion's eye. The Eiseneye is as well. The Zoogeneticus tequila that we saw is on there. We were looking at the Amica Splendens. Yep, that's on there. So let's pull that up. Yeah, last year we didn't have snow until almost February. It was bizarre. Yeah, like last year, like literally, it was like the end of January and it like barely snowed. So, I know Wild's Fish Tanks did a video, kind of about getting cheap tanks, but I do want to. Kind of funny thing is, I was talking to someone today about the. Yes, it's almost all Gadiids. I did not see the Gadia atropinis on here though, which I thought was interesting. Maybe it's got another name. But kind of, one of the places to hunt for like tools and stuff like that is estate sales. So I did get a snowblower a couple years ago from in the estate sale. It was a nice 4-cycle Honda snowblower. Literally started up third pull with old gas in it the other day. So definitely glad to have that. Let's go ahead and put it back on me here. So we're getting towards the end of the stream. Does anyone know if Dr. Black's going live or not? I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen him poking around or anything today. Climate change, yeah. Unfortunately, it's that time of the. Yeah, it's kind of weird. So, all right. So I guess Dr. Black's not going tonight. But if he is, go ahead and check it out. Check his channel out anyway. I did thoroughly enjoy his discussion with the folks that were, I guess, trolling, we'll call it. But let me show you. I'll put this up real quick, and I'll pull the video the audio up so you guys can hear what the troll thing, the thank you for candy, because I think it's pretty good. I have to see, and I might have to turn my volume on. So you guys getting any feedback on that? Yeah, you are now. So this is only a 6-second clip, but go ahead and listen. Let's replay it again. So, look up Coach O. There's some other funny ones too. There's a radio station in, we're going to go down the rabbit hole. Let's go. There was a radio station local to me that kind of caught on to him. Hey, Patricia, how's it going? But, so anyways, he did an ad when I guess he was like the coach at like Ole Miss. And apparently he did an ad for a Hummer dealership. And they literally, like, they were, sending it over to this guy named JoJo, and literally, like, there was a whole bunch of people calling this car dealership looking for JoJo, after they played this on the radio. So let me get that tune. Might as well. This one's a little bit longer. 32 seconds.
Hey, I'm Coach Joe. I just love my Hummer. I believe the Hummer is the best vehicle on the road. Big, tough, aggressive, and it represents everything that we want at Ole Miss. I have my Hummer. You need a Hummer. Tell them about it, JoJo.
Mississippi, they are here. The new Rogers Dabbs H3 Hummers are here.
The folks at Rogers Dabbs Hummer are first-team players. Come see them.
Rogers Dabbs and Hummer like nothing else. New H3 starting at just $32,000.
Love it.
So, anyways, there was a whole bunch of people calling this car dealership looking for JoJo. So, figured we'll end it with a little bit of entertainment. I kind of like the Coach O thing. So, that being said, if you've lasted the hour here, I'd appreciate it if you guys go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let me put the scene back to myself. So I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of Coach O. Maybe we'll have to bring him back for another part of the stream. So everybody loves Hummer. So, but yeah, so it's definitely one of those things. Yeah, so literally it was like a Friday, and they were, the sports scene in Detroit is rather terrible at the moment. So they were literally playing this, and literally everyone was chasing this guy around, looking for this guy named JoJo who worked at the Hummer dealership. So, hey JH, how's it going? So, yeah, so they were chasing this poor guy, looking for JoJo at the Hummer dealership, but yeah, I've been fighting the cold, so I've been tired. Like today was the first day back at work. I literally was off Thursday, Friday from being sick, and then we did the auction, which was a tough day anyway, just because it's the auction, and then from there. From there, just trying to get through all of it. So, appreciate you guys coming on. We are getting through with my time here. So I do want to thank you guys all for coming along. Had a lot of fun talking about some live bears, some different organizations that we can support. So definitely, if you want to support any of those organizations, the links are in the description of this video. So definitely, take a look at that. Like I was saying earlier, if you've been along for the ride now for the hour, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, ding that notification bell, so we don't, so you don't miss any updates here. Greg, do they still make Hummers? I don't think GM makes those anymore. So, hey Dan, how's it going? But yeah, definitely, I don't think they make them. I think they've discontinued those. Those may have died with the 2009 downturn, so we'll see. So, like I said, stay fishy, guys. Keep on breeding, and we will hit you guys on the next one.